Hello, and welcome back to Kpop Light, where we fangirl responsibly. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Rachel. And this week we are talking about all of the K-pop groups that we love and why we love them, how we got into them, who our biases in each group. We're super excited to dive in and chat all things K-pop, all things BTS, 17.
I'm so excited. I feel like last episode was fun to go down memory lane of all of the things that we've loved over the years, but we're getting to the juicy meat right here. We're getting into the current things that we're into and have taken over our lives.
Yes. Do we want to talk about what we're loving these days real quick?
Yes, of course. I would first like to bring attention to the jersey I am wearing, which I wore to the 17 concert. So it feels very special to have this on. And spoiler, we will be speaking of 17 later on. And it just felt right that I brought this top out for this occasion.
I love that you wore it for this episode. Yeah.
It also reminds me of Essa Kupsa because, also known as S. Coops, because
he pronounced his name.
Essa Kupsa, because he has a similar one. And, he's just kind of like athletic man. So I feel kind of kindred to him in that regard when I wear it as well.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you get that because you saw him wearing that shirt and you were like,
Yes, I got this jersey randomly in a market in Thailand when Rachel and I were there. And Rachel was very confused by my choice of purchase. There was like a huge market and like so many things to choose from. This was the one thing I bought, as well as like a sticker for my niece. My purchases were so bizarre.
Such an interesting haul.
Yeah, I was like showing her my haul. She's like, what was the thought process on this? But I feel like people were making jerseys look cute. And yeah, there's an outfit S. Coops wore of a jersey very similar to this. So thanks for the inspo, S. Coopsa. And if you want to see the jersey I'm wearing, head to our YouTube because we are also posting the video version of these podcasts. The YouTube is Kpop Light. So if you want to see this red glorious jersey, you can see it there. But back to these days. Sorry for the tangent. I don't really have that much to bring to the table, to be honest, today. But I did want to bring up a YouTube series that I watched but can't say that I enjoyed, and I already sent Rachel one because I was shook by what I saw, but it is K-pop idols reading thirsty tweets, which I've seen other celebrities do, but to see the K-pop idols do it made me extremely uncomfortable. As I shared last episode, Rachel got me into the GOT7 comeback. And so I was served a video of Mark Twain reading thirst tweets. The video is by BuzzFeed. And the tweets were so crazy. I don't think he even understood what they meant. And sweet boy
he did a
was
good
like,
job. He
was handling it so well. And then after that, I watched Hanbin or BI's video, same thing, him reading thirst tweets, and him again, sweet boy, just like trying to breeze past them. And a really funny part about both of these videos, a common thread, was people asking them to choke them in a sexual way, and both of them saying, I will not ever be choking anyone, I do not want to hurt anyone, no choking. So I just don't like that they put these boys in those positions.
Yeah, it's so funny that they make them do that because it's so the antithesis of what they do in Korea. Like,
for sure.
It's just complete 180 where you're like,
so far.
Picture perfect, don't talk about anything bad, like, and then they come to America and they're like, here's some thirst tweets, now read them. It's like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm wondering what their management thinks about that. Obviously, I know Jay Park has done these videos, and he is always kind of gone against the grain of K-pop and is American and very out there. And I feel like Mark Twain was having like his solo stuff, and he's American, so it makes sense. And Hanbin's a rapper that's kind of out there, so it is interesting to see who's done them. You said Eric Nam did one, which
I think he's done it once or twice. Yeah.
So
He thought it was funny though. You need to watch his because he was just like
yeah, I feel like
so
he would
chill
handle
and
it
just
well.
rolling with the punches and making jokes.
Yeah.
So
There's some idols I cannot imagine doing this. Like put J-Hope in there. Like what? Yeah.
I don't think BTS
So-
would ever do that. I don't know why.
No,
I just
no.
can't imagine any
17
member.
either. There's so many groups that would just never happen. I think Hybe in
Yeah.
general would never put someone in that.
I do think it would be interesting to have like a Hyunjin reading their tweets or Bangchan as well.
Yeah,
that would be
there's so many
entertaining.
personalities. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, but that's just something I saw these days and wanted to bring to the table because that was just kind of a wild piece of content.
Those videos are just so interesting to me to watch and to see how they react.
People are tweeting that as well.
I know. I was thinking that too. Like when they were reading them, I was like, "You're putting that out there. Like that will be forever tied to you." Like the fact that you said that.
Love you, stans. Love you, girls. But some of you be crazy. Like
Some of you be crazy.
Love it. Anyways, what do you have to share for your these days?
These days, I discovered a group called Kpop, and they just came on, like, you know, when you're listening to Spotify and then you get to the end of a playlist and then it starts serving you random stuff.
That's where all the best things happen and take place.
I know. I'm like, can I just get the end of the playlist stuff in a separate playlist? Because that's where I discover all these amazing things. Yeah, so a song from them started playing and I was like, it's been so long since I've had this reaction, but I was like, this is so good. I went to their profile, I clicked on it, I started listening to all their songs, and their songs are incredible. Like every single one, I was like, this is a banger, this is a banger, this is a banger.
Gosh.
And
I'm so excited.
So I have been listening to them nonstop, and I don't know anything about them. I did do like a very quick Google search. They were just formed, or they just debuted in January. So last month.
Oh, so fresh.
Several weeks ago. Yeah, and they were formed off a survival show. So it was a survival show between like a collab with JYP and then Psy and Psy's music label.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about the show. I haven't seen anything about it. From what I read, it didn't do very well. So I don't know if like the ratings weren't very good or something, but I would love to watch it since I watched Island and the formation of Enhypen.
Yeah.
I think I would really enjoy watching
sure.
this. So I might look into that later. But yeah, they are so good. The song that caught my attention, the first one, it's called Mama Said, and you should go listen to it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, just really, really catchy stuff. And every song I've heard has been good.
No misses. Is it like upbeat, kind of fun?
Yes,
Fun
very
vibes?
upbeat,
Okay.
fun, and high energy. I sent them to Lindsay, and she was like, "Oh, I love them because they have this skater boy concept." So
Yeah, well,
hence
their
the
name is
Kickflip.
Kickflip. Yeah.
Yeah, after learning last episode that you love X Games and skateboarding, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna be all over this." So
No, I was so excited. Yeah, she sent me the photo, but I haven't listened to the music yet. But I automatically was drawn in by the name Kickflip, and their photo was cute too. I like just the boys hanging out, kind of casual, fun vibes. So I'm excited to listen to them.
yeah, I added them to the playlist. So give them a listen.
Success. Okay. Amazing. Can't wait. Well, we have a lot to get through today because we're big fans of a lot of things, people, places, etc. I am nervous that we're going to talk for about 5 hours. We made a plan to kind of take you chronologically through the K-pop groups that we love and when we got into them, how we got into them, what our relationship is with them now.
Lindsay and I love K-pop, and there are several groups that we really enjoy. And we know that there are so many other groups that we would absolutely fall in love with, but both of us I feel like have a capacity where we just can't commit to loving all of these groups because it's so much to know and so much to keep up with and learn. And when we choose to love something, we give it our all.
Yes, we're going full send.
We full send. And we had like every time there's a group where we're like, okay, we really, really like them. Are we committing to liking them?
Yes,
like,
and we kind of have to be in agreement because I want to do it with you. So
Yeah.
we have to like choose together like, okay, are we going to go full in?
Are we
on
doing
this
this?
group?
Yeah. Yeah. Like most recently we were, we've, I think, always heard about Stray Kids and heard their songs and stuff for years now, probably. But most recently, like, we really were getting into them and they're going on tour. And so we were like, oh my gosh, we should go see them. And then I sat Lindsay down from afar. I was like, wait, are we doing this?
Committing.
Are we
No, and we had a discussion because, spoiler, they're kind of like our third main group, and we had a discussion like we think they fit that spot. There's no one else. We kind of looked at all the options and we decided no, Stray Kids is gonna be that third place spot. Okay,
Yeah.
like that, we're gonna commit to that. We sound crazy.
Yeah. But there's only like I don't know how you like can stand so many groups. I mean,
No.
girls do it and guys do
No.
it. Y'all do it and it's amazing. But I don't have that capacity.
I can't even keep up with my groups, and one of them is in the military, so I don't even have them to keep up with. Like, I don't know how you do it. So if in a perfect world, I would be able to give my love to every single one of the K-pop idols that exist. I would love to do that, but it's just not possible for me at this stage. I also want to make a disclaimer that there are not many or maybe any girl groups on this list, and that is no shade, no hate to the girl groups. I feel like we listen to a lot of songs from the girl groups, but I wouldn't say we've become like part of a fandom of a girl group. I enjoy some of the music, but I think Rachel and I both just enjoy like the variety show, like the YouTube shows of some of these guy groups. And as I mentioned, I love dancing and performing, and I feel like the men are just
The dance,
more my
the level of
style to
dance
watch.
performance.
Yeah, the intensity of it all. So I feel like becoming a stan of a girl group could be on our horizon, but currently there are not any that are taking up that much brain space for us.
Yeah. I think something we both value too in groups is like chaos and funniness. And obviously there's probably girl groups that check those boxes. So if anybody's listening who likes a girl group who is hilarious and chaotic and has top tier dancing, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I think we would be down.
That's such a good point. Rachel and I, as you can probably tell, are just very chaotic, loud, sarcastic, crazy people. And a lot of the girl groups are super sweet and nice and adorable, all the things. But the guy groups just make me laugh more, are doing like really absurd things where I'm like, wow, I could picture myself hanging out with them and peeing my pants from laughter. So. That's where I'm at.
On that note, we will dive in to talking about the groups that we love and people. Solo, I think we have one solo act on here. So
one solo act. I feel like, again, we do like some soloists. We just haven't dove into their whole backstory, which for me to love someone, I have to know everything about them.
Yeah. So it's part of committing. You're like, okay,
really
we're committing, and now I have to know everything about them.
Exactly.
So the first group that got us into K-pop and that we both loved is BTS.
Woo! Give it up for BTS. I feel like this is obvious from our first episode. If you listen to that, we kind of explained how we both got into K-pop, and we both separately, as we didn't know each other at the time, were drawn in by BTS content. And I feel like that's probably a common story with a lot of K-pop stans these days, is that BTS is the entry point because they're the most global, most well-known. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're on the radio. They're doing American talk shows. Yeah, I think that they're probably, to your point, how a lot of people get into K-pop, and then that's the door, and then once you're in, you're like, oh, there's all these other amazing
so many more. I can't keep up.
Yeah, so we talked about it, but I got into BTS in November, December of 2021.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay got into them
March 2022. Yeah, beginning of March. So
Yeah.
we've been around a couple of years. I'm jealous because Rachel went to the BTS concert like a couple months after finding out about them.
Yes.
And that was the last concert opportunity ever.
Yeah.
Well,
Before
not
they
ever.
went to the military.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I went to their Permission to Dance Las Vegas concert. And as I said, I got into them towards the end of 2021 and then was like obsessed with them for several months. Found out about the concert, really wanted to go. Didn't have a friend that was into K-pop, but I had a friend from college come stay with me in, I think it was like beginning, middle of March. She came and stayed with me. And at that point, the concert was a couple weeks away, like I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I sat her down and I was like, will you please go to the BTS concert with me? And she was living in LA at the time, so it's a pretty quick drive from LA to Las Vegas. So she was like, I mean, yeah, I'm down to get tickets. If you will get a plane ticket, we can road trip out. So I successfully convinced her to go. It really didn't take much effort. She's very like
Shout
down
out to
do
Sophie.
whatever. Shout out to Sophie.
Sophie is Rachel's friend from college who I know now because she joined us for some of our travels, and she's the best and is not a K-pop stan at all, but is very supportive.
So supportive.
Loves it for us, which is so nice.
She like watched every video. Once we decided to go to the concert and had this plan set in place, I sent her like a bunch of videos and she watched them all, listened to the songs, and by the time the concert came around, she knew who all of them were, and she had a favorite, and she had so much fun. Like, we were dancing the whole time and just had the best time at the concert, and it was so fun. And I am so glad that I got to see them because, as you said, that was the last time for a really long time. And it was such a good concert. Even though I had nosebleeds and I was so far away, they were little ants on the stage. It was still so fun. They give an incredible show, and it was so impressive, and I
remember being so jealous, and Rachel kindly like sent me all these videos and recaps of
kindly, I don't know if
event.
that's the right word. I sent you like every concert video that I took.
Oh, you know, I wanted them.
I was like, this is probably obnoxious, but here's every single video. You could probably find much better ones on YouTube, but here are mine.
I did contemplate like trying to make going to the concert happen. Mind you, I'm like 1 month in to the fandom, and I live in Guatemala. I live out of the country. Like, it just wasn't gonna happen. But I'm extremely jealous of you, but so glad you were able to do that. Incredible.
Yeah, that was my first K-pop concert, and honestly set the bar so high. They were incredible, and
can't be beat.
It was so fun. I remember my takeaway from that concert, which I remember DMing you about, was I was blown away by the love of Suga, aka Min Yoongi.
I remember you telling me that
because I, for some reason in my head, I just like didn't think that he was everybody's favorite. Like, I thought it was like Jungkook and V, but the screams for that man were the loudest. Like, yeah, people were loving him, and now I also love him. And
yes, at that time and still, he was one of my favorites. I don't think, maybe I hadn't chose a bias yet, but he was up there, and I thought that was like a minority experience, like that was kind of rogue of me to choose him.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I'm kind of different liking Suga.
Yes,
but then I was
and
like,
then when you said that, I was
no.
like, oh my gosh. So when you went to the concert, did you already have a bias, and did that change? Or
my
when
bias
did you decide who your bias? Okay, from the beginning.
I mean, the second I saw the Squid Game video, I was like,
the iconic video.
I was like, yep. That's
my
him.
man's. Exactly.
But I love, like, Suga's probably, I don't know, him and Jungkook are right up there.
Yeah.
But I just remember being like, oh, I'm so happy that he is receiving the love that he deserves at this concert.
Because you maybe thought that he was one that would receive
lower
like, amounts of love. Yeah. Of course, we kind of have the same biases. I immediately was drawn to V, and I still am. I don't know. Here's the thing, guys. I'm like kind of going against like the K-pop grain where it's hard for me to pick biases into like fit into the structure of the bias setup of choosing. Like, I always tell Rachel there's different positions I need them to make for how I feel about certain people. Where it's more than just a bias or a bias wrecker. Like, I have so many feels. Okay.
Yeah, you love or admire this person so much.
Yeah,
but they're not necessarily a bias or a bias wrecker. Like, you're like, what is that?
I know. What is that? Yes.
Yeah.
And V, I love. But I would say I'm more drawn to Suga as like a musical artist, if that makes sense. So Suga, V, and Jungkook have always been my favorite. And this past year, I kept telling Rachel, I miss Jungkook so bad. I think he is my bias. Like, I miss him. I miss him the most out of any of the BTS boys during this military time. He is my king. Like, he is an enigma where he is just so talented and such a superstar, but also hilarious, chaotic, going on live during the middle of the night for 5 hours, like does not give a crap, like deleted his social media. Like, I love the chaos of him. I truly love the chaos of him. And then Suga is just this unbothered king who like really shouldn't be an idol, but is, and is the best at it, and he makes like the most deep, profound music for me of the group.
Yeah, for sure.
Just holds the group together and is such a pillar. And I love what he stands for and his attitude towards everything.
No, he is a musical genius. Like, his solo stuff, and again, the level of storytelling and just intricacy. Yes. The level of intricacy and like dedication that he puts into the like music videos and the storytelling is just crazy. I can never say this word. The Dechita music video, insanity.
Dechita.
Yeah, so I respect him so much as like you said, as a musical artist and lyrical sound producing genius.
All of the above.
Yeah.
And just as a group, love them. I think it's hard in this period when they're in the military because I am drawn to other groups that have content and music coming out. But I'm sure once they come back, I'll be full-fledged again. And they are who introduced me to K-pop. They're so special to me. They do it the best. Like, it's crazy what they've achieved. For me, in my opinion, which I know some people will disagree, like, they put K-pop on the map for so many people, and introduced it to a new audience. And I love them as a unit, as a team, how they work together, what they stand for. And I love them and appreciate them so much.
I agree 100% everything you just said. And yeah, their just level of performance is insane. I remember watching all of the Mama performances that they did, and some of the ones I didn't watch the full Mama this year, but I watched like a few groups here and there, and no shade, everyone did amazing, but I'm like, nobody does it like the BTS ones were just insane. The performance level and the outfits, the stage setup, and like how many people there are and dancers, and it is just crazy what they're able to do.
And I think it's hard that was our first love, our first introduction to K-pop, because no one really competes. Like, no one can live up to that standard. To your point of like the stage production and dancing, like that is now
that's like the
gauge.
Threshold. Like,
yeah, that's our threshold. Yeah. And so sometimes we're like, oh, this dancing does not seem that great. But that's just because we're comparing it to the gods of K-pop. So Yeah, we could go on about BTS forever, but I fear we have so many more groups to get through. Should we continue on?
The second group that we fell into loving is 17, and I'll let Lindsay take it from here because
I have chills.
Lindsay is the one who found them first and then told me to get into them, and then I did, and I was like, oh yes. Yes. So I'm curious if you remember how you got into them and then how you brought me into it, because I don't even remember. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember myself. I think it might have been remind me of what it's called, where they did the Hybe competition show out in the field with all of the groups.
The field day
with PD Nam. And it was all of the Hybe groups. BTS was not in it, but all of the other Hybe groups. So Lisa Air Fam is there, New Jeans is there, and Hypen is there, TXT is there. I'm probably missing some. But 17 was obviously included. And they just stuck out to me. Their personalities were so funny. Sungkwan led a bunch of the games. And I think that was one of my first introductions to them. And I also remember another video. It was probably like a Vogue video or a 17 video where they're all sitting on couches. And I remember watching that and loving their personalities and their looks. But at the same time thinking, there's 13 of them. I'm never going to know who these people are. There's no chance. But I've said that before and I've been wrong. And I fell in deep pretty quick. I remember sending you the Game Caterers, the field day videos, and telling you to watch it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you did immediately. And I think I also maybe sent you a 17 video saying oh, I'm into them. And this was maybe July or August 2022. And then I just looked up in my DMs to see if I could find when you first talked about 17 to me. And it looks like on September 5th, you said, I've fallen into the 17 spiral. Ugh. I just love them. Which is a perfect quote. So you must have joined me in that.
Okay. So you found them a couple months before me and were consuming content, loving them. And then I think, you sent me pretty quickly. You were like, oh, check out this group. They're so fun. But then, as I do, I put it off because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to commit.
It's hard.
But then I think, that one day, whatever you just said, September, I think I finally watched that Game Caterers field day. I think that was the first video that I watched. And I was like, oh, yeah, they're so funny.
In September 2022, 17 came to Dallas, which is where Rachel lived, but we were not far enough into the fandom yet. But that's kind of crazy. That could have been us going to that concert together. That could have
been us if I just had gotten into it a few months before. But
we hadn't even met in real life yet. We hadn't even gone
that's true. We had only been Instagram
Tokyo
friends
together.
For a little bit. So.
But that's how I came to know them and just started consuming content. They have an amazing YouTube. What do you call it? A variety show? I don't know what.
I think so. Going 17.
Going 17, which is so funny. And I had already kind of watched all of the Run BTS ones at that point. So I was so excited for that new show. And with 13, it's just more the merrier. So many personalities, so many dynamics, so many skills and talents. And
as we said, we love chaos and funny moments. And with 13 people, I feel like that is just what you get because everybody's...
And I think we've come to learn that they are just the chaotic group and we love them for it. I think that was evident when we went to their concert, that these fans are just fun fans. We all were dressed up crazy. We all make fun of the idols. We have inside jokes. It's just, it really suits Rachel and I's tastes and personalities, I think. The group itself, but then also the fandom. The meme accounts are hilarious. We really have found our people.
Yeah, I think I've been to a lot of K-pop concerts now, and 17 was my favorite experience because of the environment and the fans. Everybody was just dressed up, being hilarious, wearing outfits that roast them and that they think are funny. The signs were hilarious, and It was just so fun to be a part of a group of people that's just like,
Yeah.
no one's taking anything seriously.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And I think that's the tone the group sets. So, the music is fun. It's upbeat. The group is chaotic. It's just fun. It's feel good. And when they do have like serious songs, it's more about like friendship and being together. I don't know. It's just like an uplifting group, and I like their tone and their discography. And not to mention Woozy, who is a member of 17, creates all of their music, and he is a king, and him and Suga are like basically twins, and slay. So I love that they make their own music and have Woozy to produce them. I feel like they seem to have a group that has quite a bit of autonomy and get to be themselves and choose things for themselves, which I also love. And I feel like they each are able to bring their individual personality out, but it still totally makes sense within the group, and they all love and accept each other for their differences.
Yeah, they have so many different characters in the group that you wouldn't think that they get along. You have crazy DK, and then you have like Minghao, the 8, who's just so like level-headed, chill, and Woozy, who's just a hermit, and but they all like just get along so well and like play off of each other and love each other so much. It's so fun to watch.
I think another thing we must mention when talking about why we love them is the synchronization and their dancing is there. No one can compete.
Next level.
17 performance is insane. And I'm not saying anyone in other groups is a bad dancer, but there are some people that are clearly weak links. In 17, it is perfection every single freaking time. And their choreographers and creative directors and stage designers are so talented. Each choreography is so intricate, tells a story, and to organize that many people on stage, which because they usually have huge amounts of dancers behind them too, is so impressive. And their performance value and how hard they work at putting together synchronized, incredible performances is no joke.
And I think that's part of having 13 members is you're able to do these incredible routines and dance numbers because there's just more people and it's all in sync and it's all like perfection. So
yeah, it really is.
We love their performance. We love their personalities.
We love everything. And I don't know if like you want to express this, but they, at least for me, they're my ultimate group. I feel crazy saying it. Yeah,
I would agree.
I feel crazy saying it, but they have surpassed BTS for me. Again, love BTS to death. They will always be my number one in my heart, but 17 is just addicting. I can't get enough. They are my drug, okay? I don't do cocaine. I'm addicted to 17. I love them.
I would agree
so much.
that they're, my old group. They're just so much fun. Like, puts me in a good mood watching them be funny, watching Going 17. Just the best. Our bias, shocker, we have the same one. It is DK.
Oh, sweet, sweet DK.
I think probably for the Dokyom. Yeah, we went to 17 in San Antonio last fall, and I have a video of Lindsay in the car post-concert crying because she misses
I was down
DK.
bad.
Go check it out. We can post it
we should.
On our Instagram. But yeah, we love DK probably for the same reasons. His vocals are absolutely insane.
Best vocal in K-pop, in my opinion. So talented.
So talented, and he hits the highest, craziest notes, and it sounds like
so
it's
effortless.
as easy as breathing to him.
Yep.
And also we love him because he's hilarious and funny.
So funny. And also, he has that personality where everyone loves him. Everyone wants to be on his team. Everyone loves having him around. And something about 17 too is they all give each other space to shine, where I feel like people could be jealous of DK because he's chaotic and like maybe he's taking the screen time or taking the attention, but they love him for it and they encourage it. And it somehow seamlessly works with all of these big personalities where they encourage each other in the chaos and all still shine and get their moment. And DK just has, I mean, he's sunshine. He really is.
Yeah. He just like brings so much joy to the group. And I feel like they all genuinely love him so much and love hanging out with him. And like, he's just everybody's best friend. And I love that for him and the rest of 17.
Love him. And then we share a wrecker as well, which I feel like our bias wrecker is the wrecker. I think he is the bias wrecker of the K-pop industry. He might be the wrecker of marriages, okay? It is none other than Kim Mingyu. Let me say it again. Kim Mingyu.
And nobody was shocked to hear you say that. Everybody knew that was coming out of your mouth.
Because he is the most gorgeous man there is on this earth. And put that on my gravestone. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and honestly I don't think there's any explanation needed. No. We can just leave it there.
He's the hottest man, but with the most puppy dog, perfect, kind energy.
Just the cutest, sweetest
his English that he's been doing these days. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't with him. So
yeah, he's just the best. Actually, I don't know if I've said this to you, but I think it regularly that Lollapalooza Berlin Mingyu lives in my head rent free.
Not the wet t-shirt. Not the wet t-shirt. No, the video of him and it's DK and I can forget who else is next to them doing hot choreography. And they're pumping the chest.
Oh, yep. Yep. God. And the videos that he does with Minghao, like,
the thirst traps.
I live for them.
Yeah. So, yeah, bias wrecker Mingyu, hottest, also super talented, love his dancing, love his personality. He, as well, you can tell is just the favorite within 17. Like, everyone loves him. And I feel like in a lot of interviews, multiple of them have said, he's my best friend in the group. So,
yeah.
We love him. And then I also want to give a shout out to Sungkwan and Hoshi, who alongside DK make up Busak Soon. And I feel like Busak Soon is another group we majorly stand.
Near and dear to our hearts.
It's a subunit. It's a subunit of 17. But those three are just my favorites, always and forever. So talented vocally. Hoshi is the craziest dancer ever. Mad respect. And just as a unit, subunit, their chemistry is incredible. And they are able to do concepts and pull off things that no one else in the industry can. It's unique to
just
them.
like the funniest, wildest, most like unique sounding songs and concepts that, like if you tried to put that in any other group, nobody could do it.
No.
And I love that they were founded as a joke as well, which checks out. And they actually did it, and it's like they're like so popular, and it literally started out as just like a joke from a fan event, I think, and then they were like, oh, let's actually make it happen, and it just works. Like everyone loves it.
Yeah, I mean, Fighting was like one of the biggest songs of last year, and was the Olympic song for Korea. Like it's fun because it's not that they're not trying, but it's not like they have these lofty goals, but then they just excel because they're being themselves and are doing concepts that suit them and are so unique to them.
Love those boys.
Love them to death.
So the third group we're going to talk about is not a group I would say that we both are full stands on. I can't even tell you all the members of the group, to be honest.
I would say we're some of their biggest fans.
Yes, but we do love them. We love their music, and that is iKON.
iKON.
And
I'm so happy to be speaking of them.
I know, this is going to be so fun because do you want to talk about how we found them?
Yeah. I will kind of set the scene. So Rachel and I are in South Korea spring of 2023 for the first time. And of course we are dying to go to a K-pop concert. We just want to go see a show. And we're looking things up and there's like nothing really going on. And also it's kind of hard to find tickets and shows in Korea because their ticketing system is different, but that's another story. Anyway, we finally come across, or Rachel finds, Icon concert during the time that we're there, which we're already there, I think. Like we bought them a couple of days before. We bought the tickets a couple of days before.
Yeah, Lindsay and I aren't big planners.
No,
so
not at all.
Yeah, we were in Korea and we were like, is there a K-pop concert within the next 5 days that we can attend?
Tonight? Yeah. So Rachel finds this and she's like, I found this show. They're called Icon. And so I think we were like, we're going to go regardless, but let's just listen to a song at least. Go to their top songs on Spotify just to see the vibe so that it's not crazy or horrible. And we definitely liked what we heard and we're super excited. So this is maybe a few days before the show. And then I would say the day of the show, we spend maybe an hour on YouTube in the Airbnb pulling up some videos and just, acclimating ourselves with what might be happening that evening. And this was the time that they had a comeback with the song You and Tantara and a bunch of other bangers. Honestly, love all of the songs from that time period. And so we watched a few of their recent videos. And so we go that evening to the Icon show, first K-pop concert for me personally, and had the best time. We were busting our booties, and I think we want to do a full episode about our concert experiences, but in general in Korea, the fans are a little bit more reserved, so a lot of them were sitting the entire time, and Rachel and I are in the back row crumping it out, sweating so hard.
Yes. I'm pretty sure everyone within the vicinity thought we were psychos. We were standing up, dancing our hearts out, dripping in sweat, screaming at the top
we
of our
had
lungs.
listened to a song for the first time that day. We did not know of them before. This day,
but their
was the
music
day we
is
became
so
fans.
good. It's very like
So
upbeat,
good.
very much so our vibe, what we would
So
listen to.
good.
So we were loving it.
Yeah. We loved the music. I personally imprinted on Bobby, who is a rapper in the group. He is one of my favorite people in K-pop, to be honest. Rachel knows I love him so deeply. And he has amazing solo stuff too.
He's so good. Yeah, his solo stuff is incredible as well.
Yeah. So it's one of those moments where when he opens his mouth, it immediately draws your attention and calls you.
He
and
has a very distinct tone to his voice. Yeah.
Yes, it takes the song to the next level where you're just you have to crump your body. There's no other option when Bobby opens his mouth. So yeah, to keep it brief, that's how we came to know Icon, and we then listened to their music a lot. I know it was my top song of that year was You by Icon. You Love Scenario. I think that was maybe on your
Oh
Spotify
my gosh,
Wrapped.
it's so good. And that song is I would say what they're known for, Love Scenario. And if you stop any person in Korea and ask them about Icon, they'd be like, oh yeah, they have that one song, Love Scenario, I think. It blew up, but I think that's all they're known for.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because they're so good.
Yeah, they're not as big as they should be. And they were originally under JYP, and now they left and are on a smaller label. I feel like are in and out. They make a comeback every so often.
Yeah, they had a comeback a while, maybe last year, and I think I added a few songs to our shared playlist that were really good.
Yeah.
But they're not an active group, I don't think. And now I think some members are in the military, so... But yeah, they are very good. So if you have not heard of Icon, give them a listen. Lindsay's recommendation is You. I would recommend Love Scenario.
You can't
Or
go wrong.
Best Friend is also good.
There's so many good ones. Tantara.
Tantara.
Oh, if you need to go on a run really fast, Tantara.
I
on repeat.
run to Tantara. Yeah, it's such a good one. So yeah, we enjoy Icon, but again, would not say we are committed stans. Again, I don't know all the names of the people in that group, but I do love their music. So.
Yeah, the music is incredible.
So the next couple of people and group that I want to talk about real quick are Eric Nam and The Rose. So as I was getting into K-pop, I discovered Eric Nam, and I think through his podcast and some of the interviews that he's done. But then I started listening to his music, and his music is so good. He started out doing Korean music in Korea and has now since moved back to the US. For those who don't know, he's originally from the US. He's from Atlanta, I think. So he started out in the US, moved to Korea to start a music career, did some music there, became like a TV personality, and then moved back to the US and is now doing music in English. And his music is top tier, and we can go into this on another episode that we are going to do about underrated K-pop stars, but so good. And I just became a huge fan, and I saw him in concert, and it was incredible. He's just so funny and like has the best audience interactions and just way of talking to his fans, and he's just so cool and laid back and funny and incredible performer, and his vocals live, amazing. So shout out to Eric Nam. And then the other group that I got into is called The Rose. And I don't know if they classify as K-pop. They're kind of like K-indie or K-alt-rock. They don't do dancing, and they don't do like these big performances, but they actually play instruments. And so they're an actual band. And similarly, like they're a Korean group, and they released music in Korean, like in Korea, but I think they've kind of shifted to doing more English stuff. So their newer stuff is in English, but they are amazing. And I also saw them in concert with my mom, actually. And now she is a fan of The Rose. And yeah, they're just so good. And I don't know much about them beyond loving their music. And I do know some things about the lead singer, Woo Sung, who also has some solo stuff that is very good. But yeah, those are kind of two groups that I got into around the same time that all of this was happening, which I don't think that you have really listened to either one of them, Lindsay, but I think I've added some of their songs to the playlist.
I definitely know all of the songs you have added to our shared playlist, and I feel like that's some of the first Korean music I listened to because we started our playlist soon after we became friends, and that's what all I listen to is our shared playlist. So I know Eric Nam and The Rose's songs that you added there, but I haven't like really seeked out other music of theirs, but I enjoy both of them. And I agree that Eric Nam just has the best personality, and I sometimes watch his Daebak show that he does. And
he's so good at interviewing people.
He's so good, and you can tell
questions, and he's so funny.
Yeah, you can tell the people he talks to, the idols, really do love and respect him, and that he has a actual relationship with a lot of these people. So I feel like he's just a really cool figure in K-pop that's respected and really connected.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the next group that we kind of are into, I don't know how to like phrase it, is ENHYPEN. And I've always liked their music. Anytime they put new music out, I listen to it and I'm like, oh, this is so good. And we have so many of their songs on our playlist.
Yeah.
And really enjoy the sound of them and their performance as well. I think ENHYPEN is one of the most talented groups, I think, in terms of like each person can sing really well and can dance really well. And all together, like when you see a performance, you're like, they are so good. Like there's not one weak link. They are all incredible. And that's probably because they were formed on a competition show called Island, which Lindsay and I actually watched together. So I feel like when you're on a show like that, you have to be good. Like, otherwise you're getting eliminated.
They were all trainees for a varying amount of years. I think Heesung was like maybe 4 or 5 years. So they all were trainees and then were the best of the best on the show. So I totally agree with you that their talent is incredible. And they have so many banger songs.
Yeah, like we know all of the members' names, and we sometimes send each other some ENHYPEN stuff and interviews. And I think we have a favorite member. My favorite's Heesung.
Mine is Jake.
So yeah, we love ENHYPEN's music. We enjoyed watching Island, and that was super fascinating watching that show.
I feel like I know them much better now that I watched Island. I understand them more.
Yeah, you kind of got to see their personalities and the group dynamics. Side note, we don't have to get into it, but that show is traumatic. Like, my heart goes out and my hat goes off to anyone who survived that show. Like,
it's so crazy. It's like the Hunger Games. Like, chill.
Literally,
out.
They're locking these children in a basement because they didn't perform
weird.
well. I can't.
I have so many opinions about the survival shows, or the shows that form K-pop groups. I feel like we could do a whole episode dedicated to that, but the setup of that show was kind of odd and crazy.
Very entertaining though, so I guess they knew what they were doing.
I know. Okay, and next up is Stray Kids, who we previously explained is currently in our 3rd spot. After debate and months of consideration, they were bestowed the 3rd spot of groups we love. We recently just bought tickets to see them when they come to Texas later this year, which is very exciting. And we definitely have recently dove deeper into the group and their content, which I feel like for a couple years I would watch their main interviews that come out, or like the answering questions while petting puppies video, and like just stuff would be served to me, and I love their dynamic. They pretty much all speak decent English, which is unique. I feel like usually there's just like 1 or 2 people that speak English, and again, as Rachel and I have said, we love the chaos, and they are so chaotic. I almost want to say, and you might disagree, but they kind of just have an edgier, not bad boy, but just more unhinged
I would agree with that.
to them.
Yeah.
And they're always doing kind of intense concepts. Like, they're not doing ballads that often.
That's why I didn't get into them earlier, was I think I had this like thought in my head of like, they're way too intense. Like, their music is very intense, but I hadn't really gotten into them because the songs I had heard, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. That's not like something I would casually listen to. Yeah. And I don't really know what got us into them recently. I think maybe, was it Chick Chick Boom or Lose My Breath?
We were definitely intrigued before, but Chick Chick Boom was the nail in the coffin for me, where I had no choice but to stand.
Yeah, like I think I knew a lot about them and the members and their main songs, but
I just unlocked a memory. I have to share.
Do tell.
We knew about them for a long time, Rachel, because one of the first memories I have with you, and I think the first time we ever like belly laughed together, was we had just gotten to Tokyo, and we met at the airport, and we took the train to our Airbnb. We got to the Airbnb, and I don't know what was discussed, but I said Bangchan.
Oh yeah.
I was talking about Bangchan, and Rachel died, and she was like, "You mean Bang Chan?" And I was like, "No, Bangchan."
Which I think that you're right. Like, that's how you say it. But I just had, like, it was the casual throwing out of Bangchan that I was like,
you were not expecting it. And she thought it was so funny, and we were belly laughing. And that was literally like one of our first conversations.
You're so right. And then I remember coming home from that trip, like, we kept saying, like, because I like Felix. So you were like, oh, you're the Felix to my Bangchan. Like, and I was like,
we're unlocking memories. Yes.
Okay, so we knew about them. And I think we knew about Felix and Bangchan, Bang Chan, however you want to say it, because they speak English, and I'm sure we had watched like interviews from them. So we like have known who Stray Kids are for a while, but didn't want to commit, I guess, to fully diving into their music and performances and everything until recently. Similarly to ENHYPEN, I remember watching their performances throughout 2024 and thinking like, they don't have a weak link. Like, every single one of them is incredible and incredible at dancing, rapping, singing. And I think that's kind of like probably what put me over the edge of like, okay, they're actually so good. And then I started listening to some of their other stuff that's beyond some of the more intense songs. And I was like, oh, they have range. Like
Yeah.
Felix is full on singing. He's not just like a 5-star Michelin
Maniac.
Yeah. Like, oh no, boy has like a good voice. Like, yeah. So I think it's definitely still new. I mean, I have not caught up on all of their albums and videos, and I have watched a little bit of their show, but I need to fully commit to watching
Yeah.
the Stray Kids content.
But they're well suited for us. I feel very strongly about them. And my bias is Han, which Rachel once pointed out, and I now can't ever forget, that I'm often very attracted to kind of the intense rapper type as my bias. Just the kind of the voice that comes in and steals the song. Like, and every time Han comes on, I'm like, that's my Han. Yes, it is. Like, he just kills it every time. And his personality is so funny. And I love Bong Chan. I feel like he is such a leader, a pillar, and worked so hard to be where he is. And I love him.
Yeah, I would say my bias probably also is Han. I really had a hard time picking one with Stray Kids because, again, they're all so talented. And I went back and forth with like a few different people, but ultimately I think Han is just like top tier talent. Like, he's a songwriter. He's kind of like a Suga. Yeah, kind of like well-rounded. He's producing, he's rapping, he's songwriting, he's funny, he's chaotic. He like checks all of our boxes. So yeah, I think Han is probably my bias, but I do hold a deep love for Lino and Felix, and honestly the rest of them too. So I don't know. It's tough.
They all have such a unique character,
unique charm.
They really do. They're all so different, but also so similar at the same time. I don't even know how to articulate it.
Yeah,
but they work together well. The last group that we're going to speak about today, who is on our list of groups we love and hold in high esteem, is ATEEZ. I feel like, Rachel, you might have introduced me to them. Do you confirm or deny that?
Confirm. I was listening to ATEEZ back when I was listening to Eric Nam. It's pretty early on, 2022, I think. But only like a few songs here and there that like would come on shuffle like after the playlist. I remember the first song that I heard that I was like, oh, this is so good, is a song called Turbulence. And I don't even know if it's on the playlist, but I did listen to it quite a bit. And that's kind of how I discovered ATEEZ. And at the Eric Nam concert, I met some K-pop girlies in line to get in, and they were talking to me about ATEEZ. They were like, yeah, our old group is ATEEZ, like we love them. And so that was kind of like the primer. But yeah, throughout the years they have just released some absolute bangers, and I feel like they're always on our playlist. We have Work, Crazy Form, a few other songs that go so hard. And they have really good performances too.
Make that money, make purse.
Yes, and really good music videos. Such good music videos. And yeah, I don't think I could name every member of ATEEZ. I think I can only name maybe a couple, but I hold them in such high regard. I think they're so good.
Yeah, I think they're great at what they do. Their songs are such bangers. I feel like immediately when you add an ATEEZ song to the playlist, it's like my new favorite song on the playlist. And I feel like I learned the songs and remembered the songs so quickly too, because they're so catchy and made so well. And I feel like they're our new favorite group to sing at karaoke as well.
Lindsay and I love to do karaoke with K-pop songs.
Yes, and we can go hard to them.
Yeah, ATEEZ, I don't know what it is about the music, but we can successfully get through an ATEEZ song at karaoke, whereas some of the other groups, it's a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, seriously. Another thing I vividly remember about ATEEZ is when you showed me their Killing voice. I believe it was their Killing Voice, where they kind of do a medley of all their songs, and just being shook at the talent and the amount of banger songs that they had.
Yeah.
And during that video, I selected Mingy as my bias, which checks out with kind of liking the intense
Crazy
crazy rapper type. So that bias could change because, as you said, I don't know everything about all of the men in that group, but Mingy stands out to me because I love the intense raps.
Yeah, I wish I could say I have a bias in ATs, but I don't think I do.
You don't need one.
Haven't committed yet.
No, you can just love and respect them all. Well, that was our long list of the K-pop groups that we love most, that we listen to, and kind of how we came to know them. I'm sure there's so many to be added to the list in the near and long future. We have so many groups that we both want to get to know and dive into, and there's some groups that Rachel knows of and listens to, and vice versa. There's some that I really like listening to. So we're always trying to grow and expand our love while maintaining this core group that has really given us no choice but to stand.
Yeah, I think we'll do a whole episode dedicated to researching some of these groups and people we want to know more about. So stay tuned. That's coming. There's a lot of them, so it will require
a lot of homework,
hours of research and YouTube watching.
Yes. The podcast gives me an excuse to just spend every waking moment on YouTube watching K-pop videos. So
it's a great excuse. Now we have a reason. So.
All right. Well, let's close it out with our mint. We want to say thanks for listening. Please follow us on social media. We have very good content on there, if I do say so myself. And we also share photos and videos of things we discussed during the episodes to give you a bit of context. A visual. Great word choice, Rachel. A visual into what we discussed during the episode. So you definitely want to check it out. It's Kpop Light Pod, KPOP LITEPOD on Instagram and TikTok, and then our episodes are on video form on YouTube, so you can see us there as well.
We will see you next time. Until then, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay by our side.
And remember, fangirl responsibly. Bye.